Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight I bring you a game and one of the ships that I just do not like. I do not enjoy. But before we get into the battle, you guys know the deal. We are on the path to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And we are on pace, but I can't do it without you. So if you are new to the channel, if you're new to the game, and you enjoy what I do, punch that subscribe button. Help be a part of something great. Let's be the first Legends channel to hit 50,000 subscribers. I believe in you. Now, with that being said, the Bourgogne, or the Bourgogne, or the Bourgogne. I'm not sure which way it's pronounced. All I know is, god darn I do not like this ship. Okay, let's get it straight. So why don't I enjoy the ship? Spartan, you like the Montana? Montana, this ship, very similar, but they're not. And I'll explain. So, Montana has very good belt armor. It's very nasty. It's slow compared to this. I'll give it that. But it has very accurate main guns and shoots 12 guns that generally go where I need them to go. And when they get there, they tend to be pretty freaking nasty. Okay? That super heavy American AP is nasty. First shot out the gate, you can see I am definitely not running a dispersion build. I am running a DPM build. I have Dunkirk for the shell switching because this thing definitely needs shell switching. I also am running Megalomania to get more reload out of this thing. And I also run Palo de Revel, and I am running Andrew Cunningham. Why am I doing this? Well, Andrew Cunningham is going to increase my shell grouping by 4.7%, 4.5 to 4.75%, something like that. It's either 4.5 or 4.75%. Well, Spartan, why don't you use Licino? Well, the reason I don't use Licino for the grouping is because it gives you a better grouping against cruisers, but against everything else, it's actually worse than if I were to run just Andrew Cunningham. Andrew Cunningham gives me a flat rate of grouping across the board, whereas my Licino only helps mainly against cruisers, okay? Now, I need to point a couple of things out. The one good thing about the Bourgogne is the fact that it is fast. It is able to get around the outside edge and get around the map. With that engine boost here, you can see, unfortunately, our destroyer that died dropped a smoke screen for this enemy Shima. So I cannot kill the Shima and get rid of him. Now, I fully expected to be able to get rid of this Shima here, because I knew he had already dropped a smokescreen. You may have noticed at the beginning of the match, he dropped a smokescreen to cover his battleships. I know, stupid, but that's what he did. But, unfortunately, our destroyer manages to get himself killed. He did do well. I mean, he got most of the health off the enemy Shima, and that's going to allow our Montana to kill him. Now, unfortunately, our Montana decided he wanted to follow me around the outside edge, and I'm not going to lie. This made me a little salty at the time. Obviously, I don't speak in game chat, but I was pretty salty because the whole purpose of me going out here was to catch this guy, or these guys off guard. 90% of the time, this turns into a bow-in engagement where my team fights their team bow-in for 20 goddamn minutes while the destroyers come around and torp everything. But because the Montana shows himself going around the island, which I did not do, I purposefully tried to avoid being detected so that I can get around the edge completely unnoticed. Because of that, everybody plays completely differently than they normally do. The Yami that was here is now going towards the middle of the map. The Repub has moved forward. The Shima goes to rush him. Fortunately, the Shima spots the Montana, so I still end up getting a little bit of the element of surprise here, but unfortunately, we're not able to do exactly what I thought I was going to be able to do. Like, I truly thought that I was going to have a good potential broadside engagement here when I come around this corner, but because my teammates decide to completely screw that opportunity up, that completely screws me over. So here, I take a shot because I have it loaded. I take a shot with AP, knowing full well it ain't going to do crap, because unlike the Montana, the Bourgogne sucks at shooting superstructures. It just does. it overpins superstructures so much that it's actually like worthless to try to shoot superstructures with this thing. So you have to switch to HE, and it also has a low fire chance with HE. So this is the problem that I have with this ship. We take a shot, full HE out of the front guns, no fire. Take a shot out of the rear gun, we get a fire on the repub. He puts the fires out. Now, obviously, I'm feeling pretty good here. We've got both of our reload boosters. This Yama's thinking about going broadside to us. The repub is now broadside-ish to us, and we know he's got a damage con cooldown. So we're going to go ahead and use our first reload booster to try to set a fire on the Bourgogne, or the repub. We take the shot, and fortunately, we do get a double fire on the Bourgogne. That is a perma-double for almost the full duration. That is like the best possible scenario. Now here, unfortunately, I don't have a choice. I don't want to chase this Yami. I want to get into the cap. Gotta play the objectives, boys. Look at the Montana behind me. Still in no position to do anything. Why? Because he goes all the way around the outside edge, and the only thing he's going to contribute to this entire game is dying, and he killed the Shima. He didn't even do any damage, really, to the Shima. He just ended up killing him. Now, here you can see I'm trying to go through the rear cheek. I know full well that I'm getting blapped by this Yama. I just hoped that he wasn't going to, like, destroy me. I knew he was going to blap me. I expected it. But I was hoping I would survive, and I do. I've got 5 heals with this build, so that's one good thing about it. And you can see I'm trying to get the shots. I get the rear turret around. The front guns actually made it over the island. The rear guns get there. We get 3 citadels. That's unusual. I have struggled to get any citadels out of this freaking build, or out of this boat, on anything at all. Like, I don't understand it. Like, this ship should be better than it is at citadeling things with these high-velocity 15-inch guns. But it just doesn't. Even at medium to close range, we struggle to citadel broadside battleships. Except for the Yama, of course. The Yama like, literally can be citadeled by cruisers at the range that we just triple citadeled him. So, that's not anything impressive. What you guys saw. Fortunately, Repub here decides he doesn't want to shoot us, so we get the full solo base cap. That gives us 2 caps to the enemy once, and that's going to allow us to start to turn the tide in our favor. We start to use the HE, he opens up, that's a double fire, he's going to damage con that, and we're going to get ready to fire AP. We've got a Mino out here in open water begging for it, and we've got a Repub that's about to go broadside, and I was hoping that the Repub was going to fire his guns. I'm opening up the angle while I was spotted, hoping that the Repub was going to take a shot at me. Unfortunately, he decides better that he wasn't going to do that. And also, unfortunately, we got a broadside Montana. And I'm thinking, okay, well, this should be a kill. But no, we get a decent hit. 13,000 damage is nothing to sneeze at, but it's a broadside Montana at under 10 kilometers. Like, that should be Death Strike if he's the broadside. You would think these 15-inch freaking high-velocity guns would be able to punch the citadel of a Montana at sub 10 kilometers. But it doesn't. I don't get it either, you know? And then we take the shot. Of course, the Repub goes dark right as we're about to shoot. So he ends up getting away and not getting blapped. We just take the blind fire. He's still broadside. And you can see we are about to get our reload booster back. We have the shot at the broadside of the Repub, but I decide to go for a shell switch once I was fully loaded. That's one of the perks of the commander. It has nothing to do with the ship. It's just the commander itself that allows you to do it. It's Azure Lane Dunkirk. So the commander allows me to switch my shell type in 95% less time. Now, because we're able to bow tank, we actually get the kill here with a secondary hit. I don't know how it happened. But again, we're going to take advantage of the shell switch time. We've got a broadside Repub who's been begging for it this entire time. And finally, the game rewards me. We get that beautiful look that we were looking for. And we take him down as well. Now, this is easily, like, one of my best games in this ship so far. Like, this isn't even close. This is easily one of my best games. And I think that this is probably the best way to play this ship, is to go full DPM and hope for the best, and then constantly switch shell types like you're a freaking cruiser, and just play it like you're in Alaska and hope for the best. That is the best way I can describe this ship. And honestly, I don't understand the infatuation that everybody else has with this ship, because I just don't have it. I don't have it. I would rather be in Alaska than the Bourgogne. And that's not me being facetious. That's the truth. I like the AP on the Alaska better than the AP on the Bourgogne. It's more consistent. It does more damage per salvo, usually. But here you see I aim for superstructure. All my shells manage to land short and hit the armor, so we shatter and do no damage. Now, we are going to spot the enemy Shima here off to our left. I expected torpedoes here, so I just, like, said, screw it. I'm not going to, like, chase this guy into that gap, because that's a surefire way to get death struck. Well, we don't have enough health to be death struck, but it's a surefire way to die. So I'm like, nah, I ain't about that life. I'm going to go around the island and hope for the best. Now, we got 179,000 damage, and we might be able to break 180,000 or more with this Shima if we're able to get a shot on him. So the thought process here was go all the way around the island and come up behind him. Dude's smoked up. It looked like he beached. Unfortunately, he doesn't actually beach. He's going to get around the outside, and he's going to be a pain in the neck for the next 5 goddamn minutes. And this is one of the annoyances that I have with this game at times, is that, like, there is no real counter here. Watch this. There is a cruiser right there, right? I don't know what cruiser it is, but there's a cruiser who is capturing the base at Alpha. He is going to manage to not detect the Shima as the Shima disengages from us. Our Shima decides to go all the way around the island. I don't necessarily blame him, but at the same time, like, you've got people here to help. You could have went directly at him a little bit sooner. He's not going to be able to spot for us, unfortunately. And then he's going to do something completely ridiculous later that makes even less sense. But I was thinking, you can tell by where I'm here, I'm like slowing down, I'm thinking, okay, he's going to squirt out this left side, he's going to go after this me or this other battleship while these guys are here, because he wasn't detected. I figured that cruiser was probably close enough. Destroyer thinks the same thing. He's like, okay, well, I'm going to torp in here. Well, this tells me right now that this guy does not have perceptive or twist and track on his freaking destroyer. This is a perfect example of a time where you must have that perk. I don't understand why any destroyer player would not have that perk on. It is such a broken perk. Perceptive or twist and track, but preferably perceptive because it's just good all the way around. Like, there's really no downside to perceptive. Perceptive is such a broken perk, and yet we do not have all these destroyer players just simply don't run it for no reason. As a concealment destroyer, you use it to stay away from other destroyers most of the time, but in these situations, it helps you find the destroyer so you can help your teammates remove them. So we don't spend 5 minutes chasing a freaking ghost and getting torped to death, okay? Now, I came back this direction to try to help this Montana. I saw the torps and I was thinking, okay, we might be able to get a potential will to rebuild situation going to help this guy survive, so that we don't potentially, lose him. But again, the guy has not been able to do much of anything this entire match. Like, he really hasn't. He hasn't done any damage. He hasn't managed to do much in terms of, he hasn't done anything useful, hasn't captured a base, he's really done nothing. He got a finishing shot on a Shima that was, like, less than a fifth of his health. It's probably 1,200 hit points, if that. And so we do manage to get within this guy's will to rebuild. It looks like he's healed back to the maximum of the will. But the downside of this is we're up against a Shima. Shima doesn't care about your will to rebuild. One torpedo from a Shima says goodbye to your will to rebuild because it's over, right? Like 23,000 damage. But Shima comes back, he gets himself spotted, he doesn't realize I'm in a position to help. We get great dispersion here. Montana hits him, I hit him. We get 5 penetrations with HE and the man lives. That's disgusting. And that's with the Montana also helping, and of course Montana gets shot. Now here, the guy is 7 kilometers away. You can see we're aiming out ahead. He's turning, and you can see we're trying to guess where he's going to go. It looked like he was going to turn left. We take the shot, and I can only guess that those shells landed all around this man's ship. Like, legitimately landed everywhere but his ship. And he probably just, like, crapped himself, because that was killed. Like, I'm fairly confident in that shot that I should have killed him. And we've got 186,000 damage. This is easily, I think, my best game in the Bourgogne yet. And the more I play it, the more comfortable I'm going to get with it. But, again, I just don't see the point. Other than the speed and the reload boosters, the ship doesn't really offer anything that any of the other battleships doesn't do better. It gives you, like, some reload, obviously, if you build for full reload, but then you lose your accuracy if you build for full reload. And the base reload of these 15-inch guns is pathetic. Like, it's actually pathetic. It's worse than the Tier 7 version of this ship, which is the Jean Bart. Like, you would think that the Jean Bart, with its ridiculous reload, would at least go up tier to the Legendary ship, right? You would think the Legendary would have at least the same reload as the premium Tier 7. But no, you don't even get that. Like, you get nothing that makes the ship better, like, in my opinion. And that's where I struggle with this ship. Like, it doesn't have the wow factor. It's a boring ship to play, and it doesn't offer anything particularly amazing. It doesn't have a high fire chance. It doesn't have hit points. It has 100 hit points more than a Conqueror, and the Conqueror has a goddamn super heal, so that doesn't make any sense. Of course, Shima fires his guns at the last second. But you guys see where I'm going with this. Like, it doesn't really offer anything above and beyond anything else at the tier. And there's almost no situation where I wouldn't rather be in any other battleship. Conqueror, Yama, Montana, I'll take those 3 ships over this any day of the week. But we still finished with a 3K base XP game. Solid 186,000 damage. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Am I just out of my mind? Like, do I just need to get good, clearly? Like, I just don't know how to play at all, so I just can't take advantage of this ship? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments below. I'm willing to argue anything that you guys want to throw at me with this ship. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.